Last year, Hamilton released three versions of the Khaki Aviation Pilot Pioneer, which is based off of the Model 23 pocket watch, which was used by soldiers during World War II. Shortly after the release, I had in the 38 millimeter version of the watch, and I was hoping to do a follow up video shortly after that with the 43 millimeter versions. There was a particular quirk with the 38 millimeter, and I was really curious if these 43 millimeter versions had that same quirk, and they do. Bit of a delay, but I have both the steel and bronze versions of the watch in today, thanks to my local authorized dealer, Gem Bijou. If you're shopping watches, check them out at gembijou.com. So let's get straight to it and take a look at the watches. So I have both the steel and bronze here, but I kind of want to show the bronze more only because I just don't get as many bronze watches in, and it's also my favorite of the two, but both are great looking watches. Neither the 38 millimeter or the 43 are particularly true to the Model 23. The Model 23 was actually a chronograph, but the 43 millimeter here is a little closer than the 38 with the small seconds. Running the watches is the manual wind ETA 6498-1. Nice looking movement. It's a 17 joule movement with a power reserve of approximately 50 hours, beating at 18,800 vibrations per hour. The crown is a good size, so very easy to top up that power reserve. Good winding action. It is a little bit loud, the winding action, but not bad. It's a signed push-pull crown, and no issues getting hold of this at all to adjust the time. The dial is a matte black with a slight texture to it. This bronze version has beautiful bronze tone cathedral hands versus the steel hands of the steel model. Other than that and the case materials, they are pretty much identical watches. Nice size and length to the hands, with the minute hand reaching just inside the minute track and the hour hand just touching the edge of the hour markers. Down at the 6 is the running seconds. The second hand also reaches right to the edge of the subdial, then has a small arrow-shaped counterbalance. Now, kind of expected, but the lume is not the best. The hands, not so bad, but the markers fade very quickly, and even with a blast from my UV light, aren't all that bright to begin with. So the bezel is a countdown bezel. You can see the markers are reversed at the 3 and 9 o'clock compared to a standard dive bezel, but same as the smaller version of the watch, it has a quirk, and I have no idea why Hamilton did this, but it's a 48 click bezel. You can see for every 5 minutes, there is 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's also a bidirectional bezel. So this is something you would normally see on a GMT watch. I've heard now from 2 separate sources that this is an error, and one person mentioned Hamilton is actually willing to take these in and have the bezel swapped for a 60 or a 120 click bezel. Can't confirm that 100% right now, but I'm going to have the owner of Gem Bijou reach out to Hamilton to confirm. So when I find out, I'll put that in a pinned comment below. The strap on the watch is a fairly good quality leather. The stitchwork looks well done. I've had a couple Hamiltons that had really stiff leather straps, and they eventually broke in just fine, but this one is quite soft straight out of the box. The bronze model here has a titanium buckle, which I'd prefer bronze, but some people can have a reaction on their skin to bronze, which is why they went this way. I've never had that problem with bronze buckles, so I'd rather have the matching one, but that is what's up with that. So just want to swap over to the steel model here for a minute. The case on both of these watches are completely brushed. Very simple, straightforward design, which is quite typical of the Khaki line. The case comes in at a width of 42.9 millimeters. Lug to lug is long at 52.2 millimeters. Lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 13.5 millimeters, including the domed sapphire crystal. Water resist on the watch is 100 meters. And here it is on my 7¼ inch wrist. I like the size, but it does have some heft to it. I think the 38 millimeter might be more appealing size wise for a lot of people, but it's too bad they couldn't have had a movement with the small seconds. Now, full MSRP on these is 1545 USD for the bronze and 1295 for the steel. The smaller version, if you're looking at that one, is 995 USD. And if you missed it, I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. So overall, I think all three are nice releases from Hamilton. That 48 click bezel is somewhat of a strange thing to have and makes the bezel borderline unusable. It does line up at every 5 minute marker, but if you're timing something in between, it won't line up perfectly. A little weird, but we'll see what Hamilton has to say about that. I may even get all three versions in at the same time for a side-by-side comparison and an update on that too. But that is it for today. Thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.